there is a test under Article 2.1. If that is conducted, it will give a green coloration. But we can show that our katha is not giving a green coloration. But still, it's not permissible, because according to the rules and regulation, a genuine katha is costing about 1,000 rupees a kg. Whereas, if you go to the Tilak market in Delhi, you will find katha selling at 100 rupees, 300 rupees or 200 rupees. So what is going on? Mass adulteration. But we were not aware, because whosoever is going to set up the factory, he has to take permission from the state authority saying that my starting material is Gambia. At that time it was not legal, and we made this point quite clear to all our licensees that your responsibility is to take clearance. Unfortunately, out of those 5 licensees, only 1 was successful in marketing that technology, and that to a pan masala company at Kanpur. They sold the product at 300 rupees per kg to that company. The company investigated, and they were satisfied with the product, and they stopped buying the same product from all other vendors, buying exclusively from our licensee. So other vendor made investigations. They found out that company has stopped buying from them because they are getting that source material from a company who is a licensee and who is also using Gambia. They reported the fact to the company, and company shunted out that licensee also. After that, I don't know the story, but as far as the information goes from the FRI sources, nobody is manufacturing. And still, the technology is not in pipeline or in stream, it has been shelved. My third case is Zeolite A. CSMCRI, a reputed laboratory of CSIR, has developed a process for producing Zeolite A, which is a replacement component in the detergent industry. The technology was assigned to NRDC, and we licensed this technology to 2 entrepreneurs at 1 lakh each. But after taking a license, they found out that the infrastructure cost for setting up this plant is running into crore. They came back to us saying that we cannot afford this much heavy expenditure, so please refund our money. We have to refund the money because we have not given so far the demonstration of the technology to complete that technology transfer procedure. So we started exploring the market, that who could be a possible prospective licensee. At that time, Nelco was on the verge of diversifying. They have an alumina plant at Damanjodi, and they were interested in diversifying. They were producing sodium aluminate as a byproduct in a liquid form. And CSMCRI process was having sodium aluminate in a solid form. After due negotiation, they agreed that, okay, we will take the process, but there are 2 conditions. Condition number 1, you have to modify the process to start with sodium aluminate liquor, not with solid. The second is, you have to give us the performance guarantee. Because we are going to invest crores and crores of rupees in this investment. What will happen if the plant fails? Or if technology does not work? We referred both the condition to laboratory. They agreed to 1 condition, but they refused to agree to the second condition. They agreed that they will modify the process to start with sodium aluminate liquor, but they refused to give a performance guarantee. See the process, see the technology, developed by a reputed CSIR laboratories, and they are not willing to give the performance guarantee. The meaning that they are not confident about their process. And it generally happens. Whenever a laboratory develops a product or a process, it's on a gram scale, in a laboratory scale. And anything happens when you upscale the technology to a commercial scale. So that's why they refused. But we did not lose the heart, and we started exploring that, let's see that who can give the performance guarantee on this process. After some time, we found out that Engineer India Limited is willing to give the performance guarantee, but still they want a time to revalidate the claims. And they took full 1 year to revalidate the claim, and after conducting all the investigation, they agreed that they will give the performance guarantee, provided they have a stake in the outcome, beneficial stake. So we discussed this matter with laboratory, and they agreed that, okay, we'll share the benefit with also EIL. On that performance guarantee, we sold the process to NELCO at 1.35 lakh crores. The process which we could not sell at 1 lakh, we sold the same process to NELCO at 1.35 crores, the biggest in the history of NRDC. The process is working, NELCO is making the money on that process. So these are basically 3 examples I can give. I can give you more examples. I have bag full of examples. But what we have concluded, that there are typical 5 steps from a creation of an idea to its final success. And in each level, there are rejects. You start with the idea, but if you discuss and in your eagerness, you publish that idea, there is no scope of any patenting. So first, rejection. But if you keep it secret, start working, brings in an invention, then there is a possibility that you did not conduct any patent search and you started at your own in isolation. And when you brought in the invention, it is found that it's not you because of the patent search. Again, all the efforts will go down the drain. And even it can happen by the time you develop your idea to an invention, a considerable time has passed and there is no demand for that product by the industry. Or there is no inventive step because you are not aware what is the state of art at that time when you took up the idea. All right? From you have developed the idea into invention, you file a patent application and you know that there are 16 groups, 16 classes. If your invention falls in those classes, it is automatically rejected by the patent office. Let's suppose your invention does not fall on those 16 classes, and then it becomes you got a patent. It's a patentable invention, you got a patent. But there is no market, or the price is not competitive price, it's very high, nobody is going to buy. So in spite of a patentable invention, it will remain on the shelf. But suppose you override all these obstacles and then it makes a valuable invention, that you are having a product which is very competitive, having better efficiency, having better features. Now you can negotiate for a licensee. But to your surprise, you did not find any licensee. So what to do? You don't have the capability to go for the production and you are not finding any licensee for the process. Or just in the case of zeolite A, the development cost is too high. So again, being a valuable invention, it will remain on the shelf. Suppose you are lucky, you turn into a new product. Then comes the negative market forces. No competitor will allow a new product smoothly. Just like Katha, just like blood bags. So they will see to it that you will be shunted out of the market. But if you surmount all those obstacles and produce a competitive product which will gain entry into the market, then you have a success. So it's not a smooth process. So basically what we have learned is that only few ideas lead to invention. Many inventions are not patentable. A lot of patentable inventions have little value. Not all valuable inventions are developed into new products. Some new products are not successful. In this market economy, the market is the final judge, and the verdict of the market is felt by the company who is pushing that product into the market. So there are three basic questions which you should ask. One is it new? When you are talking about novelty, it's a question of idea. Does it work? It's relating to the working of the process, and it's relating to the technology. And who wants it? Market. So behind these simple three questions, there is a lot of sub-activity which has to be conducted before you put the product into the market. And this is evaluation process. IPR, technology, and marketing are a part of the same spiral. You have to take up these activities simultaneously. And when you, let's take all these questions and see, IPR related, have you seen this product? Before you start anything, you have to conduct a patent search, so that you should know that whether the idea which you are having in your mind is novel at that time or not. If it is novel, go on, start developing that idea, turn into the product, and before you could file a patent application, you must conduct again then extensive patent search, because now you are going to make an investment for patenting. And if it is not novel, then there is no question of a grant of patent on that product. So you have to conduct a patent search. Then you file, if it is still novel, file the first application. And if your product has the market potentials in many countries, then you have to initiate the PCT phase or national filing, depending upon the selection or the market potential of your product. And if your product is successful, you have to be prepared for taking legal action against the infringer. That also is a very expensive exercise, because as long as your technology is not so good, but it is selling, nobody bothers. But if your technology is very good, that it's bringing a lot of money to a licensee, then there will be a line of infringer who will copy your product and put the product into the market. So this is IPR related question. Then comes the technology related question. You take an expert evaluation on your technology, make a test model to see the working, then you have to set up a prototype to show to a prospective entrepreneur that what you are saying is correct. The technology is working. And subsequently, full pilot plant production, followed by the full plant production, and same is the case about the marketing. You have to, when you are having these patenting exercise, you must conduct a market research, conduct a desk research to find out the gap between demand and supply, which will tell you how to fix up your technology term. So in order to bring the product into the market, you have to treat that product as the object of trade, because you are having a patent, which means that your product or process is unique. There is no comparable product into the market at that time. And since it's a new, there will be no standard specification for that. And nobody would like to invest in untried technology, so there will be a limited number of potential buyers. In this typical trait of patentable invention, the outcome is the patent license. And the final price is highly dependent on the outcome of your invention, because see the case of blood bags. We started with 2 lakhs, went on to 10 lakhs, then subsequently we sold the same technology at 45 lakhs each. There is a dynamic relationship between IPR activities and commercialization. As you develop from idea stage to pilot plant stage to field testing, semi-commercialization, commercialization and globalization, you keep on filing the patent. You file first the patent in the home country, subsequently you file the PCT application, international filing, multinational filing, global filing, and then you have to maintain it. And there are three typical type of license agreement. One, wherein you want upfront payment on the execution of agreement, which will cover the licensee cost and their benefit, as well as ensure the commitment from the licensing company. Otherwise, if you take the down payment, it's too high, you can split it to the initial lump sum payment, followed by a royalty payment, which will be a certain percentage of your turnover, payable 2-3 times in a year, and that will give a confidence to a licensee, because he knows that you are sharing the risk. You are reducing the upfront payment and you are taking the subsequent payment in royalty spread over a certain period of time. So that will give a confidence, because now that we are sharing the risk and we are too smart. As long as we are producing nominal, we don't bother, we pay the royalty every year, regularly. But if the royalty amount exceeds lakhs, then we try to find out the alternative to evade this royalty payment. And generally, a lot of licensees says that your process is not economical, so I did not continue with your process, so why I should pay the royalty? Second, your process was not working. I have done my intellectual work in this, and what I am following is not your process, it's a modified process, so why to pay royalty to you? Rather, you should refund my upfront payment. In order to avoid all these eventualities, you can take a minimum royalty, so that he keeps on paying even if the turnover is much higher as you have visualized, but still it will ensure the minimum royalty every year without any break to you. So it's necessary for commercialization that you must have an IPR strategy. And that IPR strategy is you have to develop and implement an IPR strategy. And since you are working for an institute, your IPR strategy must enmesh with the organization strategy. You cannot have a different strategy. Identify the technology development partners, because the technology which you have taken or which you are going to sell is developed at a lab scale. Then you have to develop it further and identify technology development partner, financing partners, then negotiate the different type of contract, collect royalty, and share with the inventor. Share with the inventor group will give them a motivation to work more and more in this direction and take legal action if necessary. IPR strategy. Formulate an IPR strategy, clearly define the objective, and it should be in line with your organization strategy. And organization strategy keeps on changing. I know one example, Newton stove was sold, I think, in 1980 when there was no gas burners and the kerosene was in scarcity, and this Newton burner was developed by Indian Oil Corporation, and it was being sold through petrol pumps of Indian Oil Corporation. And they sold the drawings at 500 rupees each, because at that time their aim was social benefits. 2 years back, we sold the same technology, same drawing at 1 lakh instead of 500. Because now the scenario has changed. The government of India is emphasizing that every cost center has to be profit center. So from their social gearing, now they have changed and now they are self-sufficient, is the motto. So they are putting a price tag on all developments. And similarly, it depends upon the type of the owners, depends upon the size of industry, depend upon the industry sector, depend upon the complexity of the technology, and also depend upon the quantum of fund required. Basic element of IPR strategy is that which element will be more appropriate, whether you have to go for only patenting or whether you have to go for patenting and design also, or only trademark registration. I know we are facing a problem with the multinational company over Ayush. Ayush is a product which has been developed by, rather, I will say that Central Council of Research in Ayurveda and Siddha in 1980 has developed an anti-malarial formulation on which they put a tag name, a class name as Ayush. They have Ayush 56, they have Ayush 64, like that, many more technology. We license over a period of 20 years to 20 licensee for this anti-malarial formulation. And I think 2002 there was an advertisement in Hindustan Times saying that Hindustan Lever is going to market the Ayush brand of products. So we send a notice to them that you cannot use the word Ayush because we have been using this Ayush word, but we made the blunder. Blunder means in the sense that we did not get the Ayush registered with the trademark registry. But anyway, over a prolonged use of the word Ayush by us makes us the owner of that word. On that reason, we send a notice to Hindustan Lever, and they said that, okay, they send a team, and ultimately we both landed into a court of law. And when we inquired from the CCRS, Central Council of Research in Ayurveda and Siddha, that how you have put the name Ayush, they indicate to us that Ayush represent 5 branches of Indian system of medicine. A stand for Ayurveda, Y stand for Yoga, U stand for Unani, S stand for Siddha, H stand for homeopathy. So they have coined this word to represent all the system of Indian system of medicine. And I know I got a call from Ministry of Health saying that they want to adopt the word Ayush for their department, and I referred the matter back to them saying that you have to take a permission because the owner of this Ayush is again their institute, which is CCRS. And later on they took official permission from them and renamed Department of Health Services as Department of Ayush. And they issued a government notification to that effect. But anyway, that problem is still pending. The point of giving you this example is that you have to think in totality. Whether the patent should be filed or trademark registration should also be filed along with the patent. So you have to see which IPR is relevant. These days when you are submitting your projects to any funding agency, the cost of IPR is permissible as one of the elements in that project funding. So you have to include that cost, you have to budget for the IPR related activities, you have to evaluate whether your organization is capable of filing the patent or you have to seek the help of an outsider agency. Sir, policy regarding self-exploitation versus licensing to others, sharing of technology fee with employees and researchers. At the same time, you have to enter into the confidentiality agreement. So what are the suggestions? Suggestion is formulate an IPR policy, budget for IPR in R&D program, take steps to protect IPR, form technology evaluation group because it's very difficult to say that what should be patented and what should not be patented in an organization. Share the royalty with the inventor because if you share the benefits with the inventor group, it will inculcate the spirit of inventivity across the organization. Ensure the continuity of R&D team because in some cases we have found out when the litigation proceeded, we ask for more information. The person who has developed the technology either has left or has expired and the organization has no records of that process. So ensure the continuity of the R&D team, arrange exit interviews. It's not necessary once you have taken the funding, you must go on. Whereas you know that this project is going to fail. You have to evaluate year by year whether you should continue with the process or not. In case you find at any juncture that this process is not worth pursuing, abandon it and return whatever is left to the funding agency and they will be happy. Promote industry visit and welcome industry group because that will give you a feel that which area, which technology industry wants. Document know-how and the result. You must maintain laboratory notebook or register, promote technology parks, incubator because that will reduce the cost. Consult specialized agency for technology transfer because all the time free service is not available or is not advisable. Thank you very much for your patient hearing. If you have any question, you can contact me. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Sir, we have a standing ovation for you.
Thank you.
Wait.
His lecture was not in the list, but
I have taken a live video. I will try to circulate it to all the members.
I